Black Grandma saves 9 Hell's Angels from blizzard. What they did next morning left her in tears. The wind came screaming out of nowhere, the kind that steals your breath and makes even the bravest souls feel small. 83-year-old Lillian Mee Johnson stood at her kitchen window, fingers wrapped around a chipped mug of tea, watching the snow swallow the road in front of her little farmhouse. Nights like this had a way of waking old memories and old instincts. And deep down, Lillian felt it before she heard it. Engines low, rough, struggling. She leaned closer to the glass and squinted through the white chaos. 9 motorcycles, half buried in blowing snow, skidded and stalled at the bend near her fence. Massive men in leather vests fought the wind, their patches barely visible through ice and darkness. Hell's Angels. Lillian's heart thumped hard, but not from fear, from recognition. Because 70 years earlier, in a different storm, someone had opened a door for her when the world told them not to. She set her mug down. "Lord," she whispered, already pulling on her coat, "guess you're testing me again." By the time she reached the porch, one of the men had collapsed to his knees. Another was shouting, his voice shredded by the gale. Their GPS had failed. Phones were dead. The nearest town was miles back, now unreachable. Lillian opened her door wide. "Hey," she yelled into the storm. "You boys wanna live through the night, you best get in here." They froze. 9 hardened bikers stared at a tiny black grandma standing alone, snow clinging to her gray curls, porch light glowing like a lighthouse behind her. This was not how they expected the night to go. One of them, a bear of a man with frostbitten fingers and tired eyes, stepped forward. "Ma'am, we don't want trouble." Lillian let out a sharp laugh. "Baby, trouble already here. I'm offering warmth." There was a long pause, then another man nodded. They followed her inside. The house was small but alive, walls filled with photos, the scent of cornbread and soup lingering in the air. Lillian moved fast like she'd done this 100 times, blankets, dry clothes, hot stew poured into bowls. The men sat quietly at first, massive bodies hunched like children thawing back to life. Steam rose from their shoulders. One man's hands shook as Lillian wrapped them in towels. "You're gonna lose those fingers if you don't listen," she said gently. No one argued. Hours passed. The storm raged. Lillian listened as the men slowly softened, talking about sons they hadn't seen, brothers lost to bad roads and worse decisions. One man admitted he hadn't felt safe in years. "You scared of us?" Another asked quietly. Lillian met his eyes. "I'm scared of a world where people stop helping each other." Something cracked in the room. Before dawn, the storm eased. Snow lay thick and silent, the world reborn and fragile. The bikers prepared to leave, embarrassed, grateful, unsure how to say thank you. "You saved our lives," the leader said. Lillian waved him off. "Just doing what was done for me once." They rode away into the pale morning. Lillian watched until the sound disappeared. Then she closed the door, leaned against it, and let the quiet settle. She thought that was the end of it. She was wrong. The next morning, a deep rumble shook the house. Lillian opened her door and froze. Her entire driveway, and the road beyond, was lined with motorcycles, not 9, dozens. Men and women stood silently, helmets tucked under arms. At the front was the man she'd helped most, the one with shaking hands. He stepped forward holding a small wooden box. "Ma'am," he said, voice breaking, "we didn't just leave last night. We talked, and we realized something." He opened the box. Inside was a folded American flag. "You see," he continued, "most folks only see our patches. They don't see who we've lost, or who we still love." Lillian's breath caught. "This flag belonged to my mother," he said. "She was a nurse, saved lives every day. When she passed, I didn't know who deserved this." He held it out. "We think you do." Tears spilled down Lillian's cheeks before she could stop them. The cold, the years, the weight of being unseen. It all cracked open at once. Behind him, another biker stepped forward with papers. "We checked your roof. It's unsafe. We're fixing it today." Another spoke up. "Your heating system's failing, not anymore." Another, "And we paid your property taxes, backdated." Lillian covered her mouth. "I don't understand," she whispered. The leader smiled softly. "You didn't ask who we were. You just helped, and that reminded us who we still can be." As they worked through the day, shoveling snow, repairing walls, laughing with her like she was family, Lillian sat wrapped in a blanket on her porch, watching the impossible unfold, and she cried, not from sadness, but from the overwhelming realization that kindness had come back around, louder, stronger, and multiplied. That night, as engines faded into the horizon once more, Lillian whispered a thank you to the sky. This story reminds us that kindness still matters, that compassion can disarm fear, that even in a frozen storm, one open door can change lives, on both sides of the threshold, because the world doesn't heal through grand speeches. It heals through moments like these: one brave heart, one open door, and the courage to see humanity where others refuse to look.